Hey coach, in this video, I want to share with you something that has just been working really well for me in creating more peace and more profit and just more purpose in my business. And so I'm going to share with you the contrarian way to building a more peaceful and more profitable coaching business using just one aligned message, one clean, simple funnel, and one scalable offer. Now, maybe you're in a place where you're not getting enough leads for your business, or you're not getting enough clients, or maybe you're doing both of those things and it looks great on the outside, but on the inside, something just feels like it doesn't fit right. I want you to consider that maybe it's not the tactics that you're using or the strategy that you're using, but instead it's the path. I'm going to share with you something kind of before we get into this, something that I know will save you tens of thousands of dollars as you look at working with other mentors and coaches or buying other products or courses because it has saved me that much. I had to pay a really expensive lesson to be able to learn this, but I want to share it with you before we actually get into what the Contrarian Way is and what it's all about. See, years ago I had hired a coach to help grow one of my businesses, and I had seen he got great results for himself and his clients, so I thought he could do the same thing for me. Even though I didn't really relate with him on a personal level or like a values level, I decided to work with him anyways. And so I hired his company. And what ended up happening is I got started working with this other coach on his team when I thought I was going to be working with the guy that I was watching on all the content. And I decided to move forward anyways. We went ahead and implemented all of his systems. And within that first month, I made back my five-figure investment and then some. But something felt off. I just didn't like the way that I was doing things. So we severed that relationship and I learned some really good lessons. And I want you to use this as a frame as you watch the rest of this video and you learn more about the contrarian way. I want you to kind of keep these three things in mind. The first one is that I completely ignored the fact of whether or not I actually related with this coach on a personal level. And that's one of the most important things is that you want to be able to align with the person, right? You want to be able to relate with them with their values, their faith, what have you. The second thing is their process. Whatever the process is they're going to take you through to be able to get the result, that needs to be something that one, you have a basic understanding of, and two, that you really align with. And for me in that experience, I didn't align with the way, like the how of how we were going to get that result, but I didn't know it ahead of time. And so that was a mistake that I made. It was something that I didn't realize. And the third thing you want to align with is the product, the actual offer that you're going to get. Are they going to work with you in a way that fits how you like to work? And that was something that for me, I wanted to work with this person that I read his content and connected with him that way, but I didn't get to work with him. I got delegated. And so those are the three things that completely changed the way that I find mentors. And it has made every mentor that I've worked with since much more aligned with me. So that in and of itself, if nothing else in this video clicks with you, that that is probably one of the most valuable things that I can give you right now as we get started. So keep that in mind. Do I align with the person? Do I align with the process? Do I align with the product, the offer? Okay. That can be your filtering lens that you see everything through as you're out there trying to figure out if you're going to work with a coach or a mentor or buy a product or a course or whatever. So, the reason I'm going to share with you about the contrarian way to building a more peaceful and profitable coaching business is I just want to share what's working for me, what I'm doing, what it's all about. And I'm not here to convince you, right? I'm just going to share what's working. And if it resonates with you, great. I'll share what those next steps can look like. And if it doesn't, you'll at least walk away with this valuable lesson about how to filter whether or not someone is the right fit for you or a program is the right fit for you. So I'm making this video for you specifically if you're a faith-driven coach, if your convictions and your beliefs drive what you do, and if you have some sort of skill already, some sort of business skill, you're not starting from ground zero, you know a little bit about how to run a business. But also, if you're craving clarity, you want more peace in your business, you want things to be more simple, and you want a business where really like it fits your faith and at the same time it fuels your life. Now, if you're still trying to figure out who to help, or you're in this place of like financial um, panic or something like that, or you just want somebody to build a business for you and you don't want to do it yourself, or you're looking for passive income, something like that, this probably isn't going to be for you. I totally love you, but I value your time and I want to make the most of it for you. So if that doesn't sound like you, that's okay for you to take that, 5-figure lesson about finding the right mentor and leave from here. But if it does sound like you, I know that the contrarian way that I'm going to break down for you is going to be it's going to completely change the way that you look at business because it did for me. Now, to give you a little bit of context, I've been in the coaching industry for about 11 years or so, and I started out with a fitness or a financial coaching business, and I had learned through that really you need to be able to offer a whole bunch of different things to people. And that's how you get more value. That's how you provide more value to people. And after some time running that business, I just realized it didn't let me express my creativity in the way that I wanted to. And I didn't really click with the kind of like the group of people that I was working with. And so I sold that business. My wife and I started in a network marketing supplement coaching business, and we we were basically taught like you got to sacrifice stuff, right? Nights and weekends we were gone. We were basically on 24/7, and that's what we were taught you had to do in order to succeed. And after some time, the company that we were with, the products that we were sharing with people, they changed some of the values that they originally had. They kind of changed their message and their approach to things, and that didn't fit with me. It didn't sit well with me. So I left that company. My wife and I started a fitness studio, and our mentor at the time said, "You got to grind, like you got to go, especially in those first 3 years. You're building a brick and mortar business. You really got to go, and that's how you're going to get results." And that it helped us for a little while, but what ended up happening was COVID came and all this work and this grind, like we were starting to get a little bit of traction, but it basically disappeared overnight. And so I shifted more to working with more of an agency setting after learning all this stuff about marketing and sales. And over the years of running those other businesses, I moved into that type of setting, working more online and being able to help other coaches grow and get more leads and get more sales and that kind of thing. And we had a huge team. You had like copywriters and you had graphic designers and video editors and you had strategy people and you had people running the actual ads. And so my idea was that if you want to be successful, you got to build this big team. And in July of 2022, my wife and I, we had our firstborn daughter a couple years earlier, and we were getting ready to have our secondborn, who was going to be a son. And we wanted to do a home birth, but in our basement where we wanted to actually do the home birth, it wasn't finished. It was like all concrete. And so we were in this process of trying to finish our basement, get the finances aligned. We're 2 weeks away from having our baby boy. And I had a health issue come up. My mom had a health issue come up. And then to top it all off, this agency that I was supporting, which was a huge source of our income, I was on a meeting with them, and basically they severed ties. Like the relationship ended because they were in some financial issues that resulted from not having some systems set up properly. And all of that happened at once. And I found myself in this place where I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like I don't have control over any of these things. I can't fix any of them. And so I just was like, God, tell me what to do because I really have no idea of where to go from here. And I was looking for something that, like, what's my next move, right? What's my next move in business? And so I sat, I prayed, I waited, and I read the Bible. And for the first time, I had always previously read the Bible from a perspective of personal development, right? Like I want to get better, I want to get more in alignment with the way I live with God and how He tells me to live. But I had never really looked at it specifically through a business lens. And so I'm reading through the Gospels, trying to find something that's going to speak to me. And I realized something pretty interesting about the way that Jesus communicated with people and helped transform their lives. And it was really interesting because it was a pattern. It was something that showed up, whether he was speaking to like one on one with a person or to a whole group of people. And it was rooted in peace. It wasn't this hustle, this grind, this bigger is better idea, this complex thing. It was rooted in peace and it wasn't high pressure. And when I noticed that, I started applying it, and essentially, like, the only rule that I follow in business now is the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do to you. But I make it more specific in marketing, in sales, in delivery, in the way I speak to people. I do it in a way that I'd want it done to me. And that's really the foundation of this pattern that I turned into a model that I call the Contrarian Way. And it's got three pillars. So I'm going to walk you through those. Each of these pillars is absolutely essential if you want to build a business that's not only peaceful, but profitable, that gets you leads, that gets you clients, and that's something that's aligned with you and your life that you're not going to have to sacrifice your life for. So let's start with the first pillar. It's called belong. Now, before someone buys, they absolutely have to feel belonging. They have to feel a connection with you as their coach. Now, it's really hard to do that if you've got content that's saying all sorts of different messages, speaking to different people, if you're chasing leads all the time instead of having them come to you. Instead of that, you've just got one consistent, clear message that you're speaking directly to the heart of the person. You're connecting with them, they're helping them feel like they belong. And the way that I apply this is through a gospel message, like your business gospel message. As a coach, there's one core message that if you would give to anybody that you talk to, really getting clear on that, and then using something that I call your content habitat. It's a very strategic way that you build out your content and you share that message to connect with people, not to impress them. And the reason why this is so important, John Maxwell, he has said that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? You've probably heard that before, and it's true. If you show somebody that they're known, they're valued, that they're loved, and that they belong, it's going to open their ears up to hear what you have to say, to hear the deeper message that you have to say. So belonging comes first before belief comes. Now, I was working with a client, Kate, and we really focus heavily on creating this gospel message for her and this content habitat and just putting it out in a specific place in a specific way for her client to hear it. And in 1 month, it brought her an extra 20,000 of revenue just from doing that. Now that's great. Those are like awesome external results, but the same thing can happen internally. I was working with a client named Brett. Brett was a like a permaculture coach, like basically this unique type of farming and growing your own food. And he had a seven-figure business already. But it was an old funnel. It was starting to kind of die off a little bit. And so we spent some time working on his gospel message and his content habitat and just helping people feel like they belong more. And what he got from it, not only did it like kickstart his results and he was back over seven figures and doing really well, but internally he got this excitement back and this joy back for his business. It was more peaceful the way that he was doing things. And so when you do this, you're really able to create a business that is more peaceful and more profitable from a marketing standpoint, and it gets you really good results when you help people feel like they belong. Now, the question is your message helping people feel seen and known and loved? Or are you out there trying to pitch stuff and sell all the time? Okay. So belonging, that's the first step, this pattern of communication and transformation that Jesus had that I've applied into what I call the contrarian way. Now, the second pillar um, is really important. It's believe. People don't buy because of pressure, right? Some people will buy because of pressure, but usually they'll end up asking for a refund or, doing something else. It'll be a poor client experience, still take up all your resources. But the real reason that people buy is because they believe. They have conviction. Now, if you've got multiple funnels like I used to have, or you're doing high pressure sales calls, you're following a script somebody told you to say, and it just doesn't feel great with you, that is not what this is. The new way to do this is just having one really clear path. And we're going from, instead of persuasion, we're going to invitation. Now, the reason that this is so important, Simon Sinek puts it this way. He says, people don't buy what you do, they buy what you believe. So your conviction, how you come across with your message and how you believe your process will work for people will transfer to them. Your funnel, it shouldn't be about like being pressure, right? It should align with your faith. It shouldn't fight against it. Now, I was working with this life coaching certification company, and what we really did is try to focus on this one message with one funnel, with one offer. And when we did that, we nailed it down. I was able to help them generate over $1.1 million from a single funnel in 1 month. And now that funnel is tracking to 8 figures in 1 year. And they've grown their leads and their revenue 40% year over year. So you can get some really great results just by helping people feel like they belong, and then helping them get that conviction to believe the things that you believe. Okay. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, if your funnel feels complicated or it's scattered or just doesn't feel like you, like it's off brand, chances are it probably is. But what if it was aligned with your soul, aligned with the way that you felt like you really needed to do things? Okay. That's the second pillar, belief. Now, the third pillar is become. Now, people don't stick around for something just because they buy it. They stick around because they become someone. They become someone new. And when you build that relationship, when you build that connection, your offer isn't just about income anymore. It's actually about income and long-lasting income and long-lasting impact. Now, I used to have a whole bunch of different offers. I used to think that the more you offer, the more that the more valuable you are. But really, when you have too many offers, you end up having scattered delivery. Your message gets, um, disrupted, and you have inconsistent results. The better way to do it is just to have one high leverage offer. It's something that is super simple. It goes really deep, and you're going from delegating and outsourcing stuff to discipling people, really building it on relationship rather than transaction. Okay. Now, the way that I do this and apply this is through something that I call an access offer. It's really simple, but it's one offer. It's got two levels of access. One is a lot more personal. The other one is a lot more scalable. And they each offer different levels of support, different levels of access to you as a coach, because that's really what people want. When you're in coaching and consulting, you're in a relationship business, people want access to you. They're seeing you in the content. They want to work with you, right? Like I wanted to work with that other coach, but I didn't get to. Now, this focus on becoming is more about long-term transformation. It's not like short-term hype related stuff. Tony Robbins said that it's not about the goal, it's about who you become, right? It's not about the destination, it's about this journey that we're on. And so a well-designed access offer, it grows people. So I was working with a client, her name was Laura, and this was something that she was struggling with. She was a travel blogging coach. She had a few different offers and was just kind of burning out from it. And so what we did is we cleaned up her offer, and she went from $10,000 to $12,000 per month of revenue to 76,000 a month at 74% profit. So her business was much more profitable, but she gained a lot more peace from her business. She actually liked being in her business again. So the question that you want to ask yourself is, what kind of client does my offer shape? And is it shaping me the right way too? Is it something that I feel aligned with? Is it helping them grow and to become? Okay. Now, belong, believe, become, the contrarian way, the golden rule, this pattern that Jesus followed, this process of how do you figure out who's the right coach for you and this filter you look through, we have covered a lot already. And if you made it this far, I just want to say thanks. I really mean that. And I hope that this has been valuable for you. Now, the contrarian way, it's built on a simple truth. And it's just that God's way is better, right? Jesus modeled communication and transformation better. Belong, believe, become. And that's what this is really rooted in. This is the way to do every single business. It's how every single business should run. Okay. Now, from a model standpoint, and actually, like, how do you apply the contrarian way? The way that I use it with the gospel message and your content habitat, your pathway funnel, and your access offer, this isn't the only way, right? But it is the way for me that I found has brought me the most peace, the most clarity, the most profit. And that's how I build my coaching business, with just one aligned message, one clean funnel, and one scalable offer. And that's how I help my clients do the same thing. It's something that fits my faith that inner part of me, and it also funds my life and the life that I want to live. So, if this is something that you feel like has really resonated with you and you want to learn more about how maybe we could work together to apply this or a part of this to your business so that you can have a business that's more peaceful and more profitable and really aligns with who you are and how you want to do things, here's what you can do. You can click the button below and send me a direct message on Facebook. And all you have to do is say the words the way. What I'll do is I'll send you all the details. We're not going to do a sales call or anything like that. I'll just send it over to you. I think you're smart enough that if I give you all the information, you can use that within the context of your life and your business and decide whether or not it's the right fit for you. Right? Sound fair? Cool. So, again, whether we work together or not, I just really hope that this has helped you see business through a new lens and to be able to find a coach or a mentor or a program or a course using a new filter so that whatever you decide to do next is something that is aligned with you. Thanks for being here. This is the way.